Oo.
Ma'am, maraming salamat po for this opportunity. It's an honor to have you on the show. And unang tanong po that we would like to know, kumusta po ang kalusugan ninyo? Alam natin na nagkaroon kayo ng COVID-19 during the early days of the pandemic. Kumusta po kayo ngayon?
Well, I recovered. Classmate ko si Secretary Anyo of DILG. Tapos nagka-second round siya. Ako, hindi. And maybe it's because of the lifestyle that I grew up with. It all goes back to one state of health as growing up and getting old and all that, habits, etc. And not to say that Secretary Annie has bad habits. It's just that probably was more vulnerable because he moves around a lot. Pero right now, what we do as a preventive is we have alam niyo itong bubble approach. In my office is considered as a bubble. Those who want to see me or to interview or bring papers, etc., they have to undergo the usual health protocols.
We also would like to know a little bit more about your personal life. Kumusta po si Liling Magtolis Briones when she was growing up? Talk us through your early years. Ano po yung buhay ninyo in the province?
Well, I grew up as a child of faith, and we were always taught that our bodies are temples, creations of God, and we should take care of our bodies. So, mga health habits, etc., were already deeply ingrained. For example, smoking or excessive drinking, things like that, were deeply ingrained in me. And also, the love of everybody knows that my love for music and the arts, because I went to a very small faith-based school for high school in my hometown, and then proceeded to Silliman University for my basic degree. And in Silliman, whatever your degree is, you have to be honed in the arts, in history, in music, in literature, and so that's the kind of exposure that I had, and I think it has been very helpful to me in my present work to be able to maintain balance. For example, the capacity to see the whole and not just my shall we call it maybe empire or kingdom or my department, but look at the whole of the country, not only to look at my teachers but also to all others who are serving the Filipino people, and I got that from my basic education of really caring, and that all of us are creations of God, and we have to take care of ourselves. So, ganun ang linakihan ko. Pero yung love for the arts, I got that in Silliman. But
really?
the love of country, that was intensified in UP.
Of
so
course.
My heart, my soul in Silliman, my whatever I learned academically, in knowledge and awareness, especially love of country, is UP. Kasi I spent time in UP, of course.
Ma'am, isa sa mga question na pinadala sa amin is, they want to know kung si Professor Briones daw ba ay may kapilyahan din when she was growing up. Kayo daw ba ay naka-experience din ng cutting of classes when you were young?
Well, when I was undergrad, I was a very serious student because I come from a very poor family. Very rare naman makakita ka ng family ng teachers na mayaman, but very poor but highly respected, as teachers always are highly respected. So I was very serious in my studies. As you know, I finished magna cum laude in accounting in Silliman. Pero yung kapilyahan, came out when I was already in UP. And so we had this Professor Rose who was quite vain, and he thought that all the girls were in love with him kasi binata siya. And so I wrote him a love letter saying how wonderful he is. I like the way he holds his cigarettes, the way he gazes into the distance while lecturing, and so on. And so he was so delighted, and he showed it around to everybody else until one of my friends said, "Ay, si Liling yan." Kasi he recognized my style.
Of writing.
Yes, my style of writing. And this business of phone pals, etc. The naughty things I did as a graduate student in UP.
Okay.
And that was fun. I really enjoyed my graduate days in UP. Oo.
Okay.
Doon lumabas kasi 17 years old lang ako when I graduated. So very serious.
Okay.
17-year-olds are.
Okay, as expected talagang iba yung nagagawa ng UP. Ma'am, paano po daw kayo nagsimula ng career ninyo in the academe?
In the academe kasi I went to the College of Public Administration, di ba? My basic degree is in accounting. And when I heard about scholarships at UP for public administration, I applied for it, and I was taken in. Now, it was a practice, and I think it's still a practice in the university. Now, usually, the so-called better or promising or good students are usually grabbed by the professors to be the research assistants, to help them in their researches, or absorbed by the unit themselves. So, ang usual career path kasi pag you are in a university is you start as a researcher or a research assistant, and then you reach your limit na, then you start joining the faculty, instructor 1, instructor 2. It took me 30 years to become a full professor in UP. Yes, because you have to produce, and I think all of us know this na kailangan may nasulat ka. Pangalawa, mayroon kang, lalo na kami, public administration, you have to have practice outside, exposure, kasi governance ang ano namin. So we have to have some exposure to actual practice in government. And so ganon, that's how I really went up the ladder until I became full professor.
Okay. Ma'am, alam nyo naman na ito alam ng lahat na kayo ay super achiever. Yung achievements nyo in your professional life, mahirap pantayan. So paano po ninyo na-balance yung family life and your career?
I think that is a very, very important question because many women who are considered, promising or have a good professional life ahead of them always have to make that balance. And this is what Filipino women are admired for, the capacity to balance, because they're responsible for whatever happens in the home, to the children, to the husband, and the household expenses, etc. Managing the members of your family, and but at the same time, you have to do well in your career. So doble yung burden, and so very early on, I was quite fortunate in that my husband is very supportive. So walang sense of rivalry. He wanted me to go as high as I could go, and my children, I believe, also supported me. Importante kasi yung family support, because if you have problems in the family or rivalries in the family, then that complicates the life of a career woman. Kasi you manage, you're expected to be a good home manager, you're also expected to be a good office or a good executive or a good professor, and an excellent one, because you are a woman.
Yes.
Yun ang expectations, na you are supposed to work harder, ganon. Pag wala kang support sa family, then life gets a bit complicated.
Oo. So I was privileged to get a little bit to get to know that side of you, ma'am. Kasi parang when I was young, mas kilala ko lang kayo as mother of my friend Hoche. So full disclosure po, mga nanonood sa atin, ang kaibigan ko ang anak ni Professor Briones, and with
Classmate mo.
ay binibigay natin sa kanya because of my friend Hoche at saka yung dalawang anak nyo na you raised so well. Walang ere, walang yabang, napakabait. And to think na boys, you raised 2 boys. And
Yes, 2 boys.
kasama pa yung asawa nyo raising 3 boys.
Right. Yun ang sabi ni Vilma Santos eh. Ang eldest son niya ay si Ralph. That's
Okay.
exactly what Vilma says. She's also a local executive.
Oh, yes. So, ma'am, itong panghuling tanong natin bago tayo doon makasama po yung mga panelists natin in the second segment. You studied in some of the best institutions in the world. You went to Leeds University. Before that, Silliman University, magna cum laude, Harvard University. Nag-serve na rin kayo sa cabinet before President
Yes.
Era Estrada. National Treasurer kayo. Now, DepEd at kayo ang DepEd Secretary sa panahon na napakahirap itong may global pandemic. Ang tanong ng mga millennials, how to be you po?
You have to be you. You don't have to be anyone else. Kasi each person is different capacities, different strengths, different vulnerabilities as well. You have to be faithful to yourself. Like ikaw, Rose, why are you where you are? Because you are you. Because you made yourself. You did not say I want to be like Liling Briones or you want to be like some famous journalist. You built yourself. So ganon.
Actually, gusto ko rin talagang maging Liling Briones, ma'am. Kaya lang mahirap talaga. So early on, I found out kailangan mag-deviate na ako ng path.
And you did very well.
So salamat po. That is really that is inspiring. You just have to be you.
You have to be you.
Yes, and maybe get some inspirations from people, but kung ano yung gusto ninyo. Bago po tayo mag-close ng segment na ito, pangarap niyo po talagang maging teacher?
Hindi.
What is your dream?
Hindi, because ang isip ko, the usual thing in my generation, kung you are considered na you want a good career, etc. Di ba may mga listahan yan na sa mga big families, the eldest has to be a lawyer, the next one has to be a doctor, the third one has to be and then yung bunso, dahil wala ng pera by that time, teacher na lang. But in my case, I saw how my mother suffered. Kasi I come from sabi ko, teacher dynasty. Cousins, uncles, aunts, mga teacher. Because teaching for a woman was the acceptable career at that time. Ang model ko for a teacher, of course, is my mother.
Mm-hmm.
During the war years, that's how I learned how to read and write on banana leaves, and sharpened bamboo sticks. Kasi at that time, panahon ng gera, and we were out there in the mountains, bakwit talaga, literally bakwit. And my mother gathered the children to divert their attention from all the bombing and all the horror stories. And she taught us how to read and write. Walang papel, walang lapis, walang allowance, walang uniform, walang hazard pay. Talagang on her own. So, yung ganong klaseng passion, I thought was very admirable in a teacher. And I suppose my brothers and my sisters also absorbed that perspective.
Thank you for that for sharing us your experience. Magbabalik po ang One You Konek, at sa pagbabalik po namin, makakasama natin ang ating mga panelists to ask questions to the Secretary. This segment is brought to you by World Remit, a better way to send money.
Sa World Remit, naiintindihan namin ang iyong paglalakbay. Na minsan, kailangan lumayo upang makamit ang tagumpay. With ways to save more, when you send more, World Remit is here for you, so you can be there for them.